Hey, Star family. This, I don't think we're going to have a lot of jokes in this one. I really, really don't. This one is going to be a little serious because I don't think any of us had any idea how serious this was. So let's have a chat. Let's have a chat. I'm not going to do my jingle because this is really sad. This is really, really sad. This is really, really sad. I just don't. It's for me. I just don't think it's going to be upbeat. I really, really don't. So I don't know. Should I start it to like? I don't know. Let me see what y'all saying. How y'all doing, family? How are y'all doing? Hey, Denard. Hey, Black Lavender. Hey, Tracy. Hey, Katie. Hey, L Boogie. Hey, Liz J. Hey, Alicia. What's up, Jen Bunny? Hey, Crazy Homebody Girl. Hey, Faye. Hey, guys. Thank you all so much for joining me. I actually, and thank you all for joining me last minute yet again. I had this scheduled for Tuesday. I was going to do this on Tuesday right after the, sorry. I was going to do it on Wednesday because the Bachelorette is Tuesday. I was going to do this on Wednesday and, then do my housewife thing on Thursday. But me and my mom watched the documentary this morning and I'm so emotional and just like, I can't wait. Like, I couldn't wait. I was like, oh no, we have to talk about this right now. So thank you all for being available at the last minute. Thank you, Star Family, for always pushing through. But for those of you who do not know, I just watched the documentary, The Housewife and the Hustler on Hulu. It dropped last night. I didn't get a chance to watch it last night. I watched it this morning, not planning to do anything today. Today was going to be a bunch of editing because I have some stuff to get up to you guys and like making some work calls. So I really didn't plan on doing something today. And after I watched this with my mom, I was just like, oh, we have to talk about this today. This is ridiculous. This is really, really bad. Really, really bad. And I didn't think it would be this bad, but this is bad. This is really, really bad. So The Housewife and the Hustler on Hulu. It's a documentary about Erika Jane Girardi and her husband, Tom Girardi, who is the famous lawyer from Erin Brockovich. He was able to get her. He's one of the people who was able to get at that time, the highest settlement ever. Of any case that sued a corporation. I think he got Erin Brockovich and the victims $333 million, right? That was him. So he became really popular for that. And Erika Jane is his wife, who was on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So ABC bought a documentary that was created about them and aired it on Hulu last night, and it was very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. A lot to talk about. Before we get into it, because I feel like I'm already because I just watched this, so I'm like, I'm in this space. Let me bring the energy back up. I'm so sorry. I was just like, this is not what I thought it was going to be. But we will get into that. Hey, Kimberly. Hey, Carlin. Or I hope is it Carlin or Carlin? Hey. Hey, y'all. Hey, Greta. Hey, Red Lipstick Hustler Lily. Thank you all for being here. Hey, Connor. Connor said, Bravo will be loving the free promo. Oh, absolutely. This is just more money for Bravo. This is just more money and views for Bravo. It works for them both ways. Simby Red, hey, said, hey, Nikki, I've never been here for the beginning of a live. Welcome. This is not the one to be here for the beginning of. Normally we have a lot of fun, but today it's woo. That documentary was a lot. That documentary is a lot. It's hey, it's Latasha. Love your hair, sis. The documentary is an hour and 9 minutes. With if you watch it on Hulu, I had too many ads. I had like 8 ads that were like 3 minutes. So an hour and a half or so, or almost an hour and a half. But it goes by quickly. You to be honest with you, I was watching and like, is there more? Because for me, it was just a lot of information that I just was not privy to. And I've read articles and documents. I thought I knew everything. I didn't know half of what Erika and Tom are facing. Hey, Angela. Hey, Tony. Oh, yeah. Tony said, I didn't even know what it was about, but I'm curious to hear since I'm not a fan of these people. Tony, thank you for joining us and watching anyway. Thank you so much. And let's listen to Black Lavender while, you know what, I decided to do the jingle. Why not? Oh, it's so dusty. I apologize. I was not expecting that. Has it been this long since I used my tambourine? That's the only thing about not having carpeted floors. The way I have to dust my room, crazy. Yeah, Brittany said, no, this was a lot. This was a lot. Keisha, we'll get into that. But long story short, I think that she did that for the money. For the money, because she's going to need it. Oh, wow, Miss Gigi88. I had no idea. Well, we're going to get into it. We are going to get into it. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to give my overall thoughts. And then if you guys want to, if you have watched it and you want to comment, I'll share the link so you can come on and join me if you're into it. Oh, what? You guys can't get Hulu, Angela? That's crazy. They don't want no money. Oh, thank you, Cameron. Thank you. And with that, come on in the room. Oh, come on in the room. Yeah, we got so much to talk about. So won't you come on in the room? Come on, family. Come on in the room. What's up, Advice Queen? Hey, Adrian Champion. Oh, Adrian said, okay, so let's get the breakdown and the backstory. We sure will. Come on in the room. Oh, come on in the room. What's up, Curly Coils? We got so much to talk about. I said we got so much to talk about. I said we got so much to talk about. So won't you come on in the room? What's up, DC? Come on in the room. Hey, Ryan. Come on in the room. Yeah, we got so much to talk about. I said we got so much to talk about. I said we got so much to talk about. Ow. So won't you come on in the room? This is not a good look, Erika. This is not a good look. That's what it's looking like. That's what it's looking like. Oh, no. You know what? I don't want to say this, but there's ways to watch it if you can't get it on Hulu. I feel like it should be on ABC at some point. I'll look it up after this live and see where else you can watch it because it says ABC Network. So I feel like at some point ABC is going to air this. I think the deal is just let's air it on Hulu first. But I feel like at some point during this week, you guys are probably going to get the interview on network TV. It just wouldn't make sense if you guys didn't. It would not make sense. Me either, Dwayne. Me either. I had no idea. He's been doing this for over 40 years, guys. He's been stealing from his clients for over 40 years. Over 40 years. So much, Miles. So much to talk about. Missy B2 said, while watching, let me just check the time. Okay. Missy B2 said, while watching this documentary, all I was saying was, it's expensive to be me. She didn't lie. She did not lie. You think so, Denard? We'll talk about that when I get there. I don't know. Tracy, I really do think it's going to be on TV. And so it just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I'm going to check, guys. When we're done here, I'm going to check to see if it's going to be on network TV. It would make sense for it not to be. The way ABC is all over it, even in the commercials. I don't know. That would be a missed opportunity, especially since a lot of housewife watchers don't have streaming services. So yeah, you guys are going to watch it eventually. I think they just, with the deal that ABC has with Hulu, I think they just got the exclusive. Soprano 2, no, I do not. I don't, but from what I watched, I don't think so. From what I watched, I do not think so. So since we're already talking about it, let's get into it. So I just watched this, so I have a lot of thoughts. So let me get through it. And then after I get through my thoughts, I'll reach out to you guys. And again, let me know if that happens, if you want to join in, and I will share the link with one of the moderators in the building, probably Tracy or Tony, or Black Lavender, if you feel so inclined. I'll share it with them. If you want to come on and talk about it, we will. My first note, I don't know if you can see it. My first note is, oh, Erika, this is terrible. This is really, guys, it's really bad. It's really, really bad. And can I just say, I was so thrown off. Sorry, hold on. Hey, sissy, I'm on live. Oh, what does it do? I'll get off if it's due right now. Is it not? Just let me know that. Today. Oh, okay. I can do that. All right. Love you. Bye. Audition. It happens. Last minute. Last minute Lucy's this industry is. Anyway, I was just like, I felt kind of duped, right? Because I am somebody who I read the articles. LA is messy, so everything is public. So I read like court documents and everything, and I thought that I knew, right? I thought that I knew everything, but not that I thought that this wasn't a lot, right? I knew it was bad. It was not as bad as I thought it. Like, it's worse. It's terrible. I don't see how either one of them is going to recover from this. Like, anybody can recover, right? But I just think it's going to be a very long time for the both of them to do so. Here is why. When I saw the trailer, they had Danielle Staub. I forget that lady's name, but she was the one who, I think she was on the Real Housewives of Orange County. And I think she was auditioning to be on the show. She was a friend of, and she has like this podcast now that she was promoting on the show. And the reason why they had her on there was because she spoke to one of the lawyers who was suing Tom. So that's why she was on there. And she also is in those circles that Tom and Erika is in. But seeing Danielle Staub throughout all of the trailers that I saw, I just thought that this was going to be messy. I was like, oh, ABC is getting messy. Let me tune in. I did not expect to be crying. Like, every time we spoke to a victim, I was bawling. I did not expect for it to be this serious and this in-depth. The way it was advertised, it looked messy. Because you have Danielle Staub, like Erika, she has all the money. But does she? Like, Danielle was being real messy in the trailer. So I'm like, oh, this is going to be some mess. It looked like Andy Cohen edited this thing. And then I watch it and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like a documentary you watch on HBO, about a water crisis. You know what I mean? Like, not something like this, like the way it was advertised. I was just completely thrown off by that. And I realized that what we have been given, like through articles and press, was really just half of what is really going on, to the point where I'm just like, yeah, girl, I don't see you bouncing back from this for a very long time. This is bad. But let's start from the beginning. First of all, why in the hell was Danielle Staub in this? Like, I don't understand why she was in it. She did not give any value to it. I don't know if they needed her to like sell this documentary to Hulu and ABC. I'm not quite sure, but she just wasn't needed, right? We open up with her, right? Not only is she all throughout the trailer, we open up this documentary with Danielle Staub dragging Erika for filth. Like, it's expensive to be her, really. Like, she was just saying some nasty things about Erika and then saying, well, I'm the same way too. So I honestly, get it. But it just seemed very messy and it did not fit the rest of the documentary. I can understand why the lady with the sunglasses, the $25,000 sunglasses was there because of her podcast. I just didn't understand why Danielle Staub was there unless she was like executive producing it or if they felt like they needed her name to sell this documentary to Hulu. I don't know, but she just did not add any value to the documentary besides these little quips that she was taking at Erika. Because first of all, she starts off by saying that she doesn't know her, but then she drags her throughout the entire documentary. I think the only thing that could connect them outside of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills or the Real Housewives franchise is the fact that Danielle and Erika Jayne stripped at the same, or go-go dance, stripped at the same club in New Jersey where all the like wealthy Goodfella men went. That's where they both work, but they didn't work at the same time, so they didn't know each other then. But that could be the only connection outside of the Real Housewives, because I'm just like, why are you here, Danielle? She, like, honestly, guys, when you watch it, it makes no sense to have her. If anything, not saying that Danielle is a cheap person or talking about her as a whole, right? What she brought to it, in my opinion, cheapened the documentary. Remove Danielle and it is like top tier storytelling. You know what I mean? Putting Danielle in that documentary storytelling, putting Danielle in it just made it messy and made it appear to be something that it really, really wasn't. And she was throughout, but she did not add anything, just like nasty, shady comments. And I was just like, this isn't helping, because I'm sitting over here listening to one of the victims and I'm crying. And then we cut back to Danielle with like this two-tone, totally different texture weave saying something like shady. And I'm like, ugh, this isn't really necessary. It takes you out of what's actually happening in that moment to go back to somebody who is just being trashy, because that's what pays the bills for her in that element. Moving on. That week was terrible. We've all been there. We've had our moments, but at that level and with that money, you like, why was your real hair? First of all, do you have a natural texture, Danielle? Because the hair was a little crinkly. It was looking like how my hair is when I try to press it out and it just don't quite press, that little kinky texture. It was looking like that, but it was like red, like a red or like a ginger, right? But then the weave was like blonde and brown. And I think it was synthetic. What? And the strawberry is going on. Let's move on. Really, I'm telling you guys, it was a really weird setup of guests. You go from Danielle Staub to Chris Darden to Danielle Wilkie, the lady with the $25,000 glasses. I was like, y'all was just hurting for people to talk about this story. So like I said before earlier, that Tom became well known because he was the lawyer who was able to fight the company that Erin Brockovich was fighting about the water or whatever that happened, and he got her and the victims a $330 million settlement. At that time, that was the biggest settlement that any company had ever paid out, and he just became like this powerhouse because he was able to do that. And with that settlement that he received and his portion of that, he was able to, really make a name for himself, not just within the law community, but also within the Hollywood community, because then after that, Erin Brockovich was made into a movie and he was portrayed in the film as the powerhouse that, everybody was talking about who he was. So he was making waves in the law world, but he was all in, law and justice and all of that. But he was also making waves in Hollywood, and with those connections and with, those settlements that he was getting for people, and he was eating off of that. He was also able make moves in the political field as well. So he had a lot of pull. He had a lot of pull in, the law world. He had a lot of pull in Hollywood, and then he had a lot of pull in the political spectrum, the political world as well. So he was a big guy, a Teflon Don, like somebody who was very unstoppable. They talk in the documentary about how he had judges eating out of the palm of his hand. One reporter said that he was interviewing Tom, and a part of interviewing him is following him around on his day-to-day. And he said he was at a Hollywood party with him, and he literally, Tom, a lawyer, looked at a judge that was let me say this again. Tom, who is a lawyer, looked at a judge who was at the party, did this to the judge, and the judge walked over to him like a puppy, a high school girl who was running to meet her crush, because that's how powerful he was. And the reporter was just talking about how he was so amazed that this lawyer could have a judge like that, just like floored that he could have so much power. But that's who he was at that time. And then after we get into, after this documentary establishes who Tom is and how powerful he was at that time and how his power and influence reigned throughout, then we get into the people that he worked with. And one of the people he worked with was, I forget, I can't pronounce his last name, but his first name is Brian. He is a lawyer who worked with Tom. And he was saying that he was really concerned when Tom not only married Erika Jane, but when he went on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, he was just like, it goes like how Tom was on the show, and the show was focusing on Erika, and Erika was talking about how they had all of this money and 2 planes, and he was just like, we sue the man, we don't become the man. So sitting on a TV show talking about how much money you have, when the money that you have at this time, they did not know he was stealing from clients, but the percentage of the money that you have bought these things and, lived the lavish life, that is your prerogative. But when you start bragging about it, it makes you look a certain way, right? Because you are living this lavish life off of the back of victims who have lost loved ones, who have suffered through cancer, who have almost died during surgery, who have had, mechanic motorcycles and things, go faulty on them and take their lives, and their loved ones are fighting for this money from these companies. You are the one who does that, but then you go on this TV show and talk about how lavish your life is after you receive the percentage of a settlement from somebody who endured so much pain. He was just saying it doesn't look right. Like, of course, if you are getting a portion of a $330 million settlement, you're going to get a nice chunk of change. But to go on a TV show and have your wife say it's expensive to be me, and have you give her a painting for $1 million and talk about how much money you have, and not really discussing the source, right? Not saying, oh, I got this from my clients who were cancer patients who were wrongfully infected with this, disease or whatever that made these cancer cells develop in their body. You're not saying that. You're just saying that you're this hot shot lawyer. This is your hot wife, and you have 2 planes because you have so much money. So he was saying when he went on the show, he knew that something was going on with Tom, because this is not what you do when you are a lawyer who is suing for the people. That's not the guy that you are. That's not how you're supposed to be. Morally, it's wrong. So he was saying that everybody in his community, Chris Darden, OJ, that's where I know him from. Chris Darden and Brian, the lawyer who worked with Tom, they were saying that they were talking about it to everybody. Like, yo, what's going on with Tom? Like, what is he doing? Because this is not something that we're supposed to do. We don't brag about the money that we have, the portion of the money that we have received from people's pain. That's just, it's not illegal, but it goes against what we do morally. So that's when they knew that something was going on with Tom when they went on the Real Housewives, when he agreed to film the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And I'm telling you, there is something about these housewife shows that these people go on these shows in either dire financial duress or their relationships are like on the brink of like collapsing. Either you go on the show to get out of your marriage or you go on this show to get locked up in federal prison. It really does need to be studied. The connection to like the prison, like the Real Housewives to prison pipeline, and the divorce to Real Housewives to divorce pipeline. Those two really need to be studied because this happens often on every season in every franchise. Either you're getting divorced or going to prison for fraud. What is that? The Real Housewives to prison pipeline. That needs to be the next documentary. So then this is where after you're like, oh my goodness, after you're getting it to, you're like, what? Then your heart breaks immediately, right? Because you meet Joe, who was a young man. I believe it was in San Francisco. There was this gas fire that happened and it leveled like an entire neighborhood. A lot of people lost their lives. He fortunately was one of the survivors, but his girlfriend, who he was with at the time, passed away. Like her body, this gas fire, it was so strong that it like I said before, leveled the neighborhood. But he said it felt like, he said out of nowhere, like my home was shaking and then a big boom happened. And then when he's saying that, you have the footage covering what actually happened from the news. And you see, guys, that there's literally nothing left in that neighborhood. Everything has either been blown or burnt to ashes. There is nothing left. And the fact that he survived that is a miracle. But like I said, again, unfortunately, his girlfriend lost her life because her body was blown so far that it blew her from the home into a shed that was outside. And that is where she died. So this young man is dealing with the surviving this blast, but also dealing with the fact that the love of his life, her life was lost in that, or his sweetheart at the time, her life was lost, right? Then you got to deal with his recovery, because we talked to his doctor who was handling Joe after the blast. Joe has had several surgeries at this, a lot, more than several at this point, lots and lots of skin grafts. His voice is like distorted because his doctor informs us that not only was Joe's body burning on the outside, because he was grasping for air during that blast, he was inhaling flames. So the boy was burning from the inside to the outside at the same damn time. Nobody thought that he would survive, right? So he has survived, and while he's in his hospital bed, who shows up? Tom. The mom is just like, my son, not only has he lost his girlfriend, right? But my son is hanging on by a thread. My mind is not really here. And she was just like, I'm getting all of these calls from lawyers, ambulance chasers, all of these calls from lawyers wanting me to go with them and go with them and go with them. And you know why she went with Tom? Because of Erin Brockovich. Media's powerful. Media's powerful because there probably was a much better lawyer than Tom, a trustworthy lawyer, a lawyer who was not a scammer. But because of Erin Brockovich, that was like a familiar name, and she just went with it because it was just like, okay, this is like what I know. And her best friend also was working with Tom, so she just went with that. But she was just like, I wasn't really thinking. Like I'm in a hospital every day with my son, who is a shell of himself at this point because his flesh is burned inside and out. So the lady is not in her right mind. And I believe that Tom knew that. So he goes and he sues for them. He gets them a very huge settlement, right? So while, the settlement, while it should be coming in, Tom lets them know that, hey, you guys are going to get this money. But what I would like to do is, because I love you guys are good people, I just know it. I want to take your money and hold it in this trust. Nothing will happen to it. You will have no loss. I'm just going to hold it and invest it into this trust, and it'll increase at about 6%. After it increases at 6%, I'll take it out and I'll give it to you. What he actually did was took Joe's settlement money, because it wasn't just Joe. It was Joe who was the survivor of the burns and the blast, because he was the only one there. His mother and his sister was not there. But because his mother and his sister not only lost their home, they lost their possessions and everything in it, they received a settlement as well. So he took Joe's money, his sister's money, and his mama's money, and he put it into his own account. There was no investment trust that he was putting that money in. He put it into his own account and started investing it in Erika. So he was taking up to, I believe, $20 million and investing it in Erika Girardi Global. That was her business. But let's be real clear. Tom was also taking that money and just living a very expensive life, because like his wife, he has very expensive taste. So after Joe and his mom and his sister, at this time, Tom takes their settlement that they have won, and they're thinking that he is, holding it and just taking out payments over time. Tom is just sending them whatever he wants to send them and whenever he wants to send it. So they're getting payments, but they're not consistent and they're not the same amount of money, right? So basically, to appease them, he's sending them something, but they're still asking questions. And what he does is very manipulative. He calls them and he says, oh no, I wouldn't do that to you. Oh, this is happening. Something else is happening. I love you guys. You're like my family. And then he fabricates that the judge who was presiding over the settlement case said that Joe, because I think Joe was about 18 at the time when this happened. He said that because you're such a young guy, he doesn't want to give you a large amount of money because he doesn't want you to waste it, because you have a lot of surgeries that you have to get for the rest of your life. So he wants me to hold on to that and just give you, a little bit at a time. Now, if you don't know anything, right, this makes a lot of sense to you. I'm from the city of Philadelphia, the scammer capital. Right off the bat, that did not make any sense to me, that a judge is going to say, oh no, you're so young, I'm not going to give you all of this money. We're just going to break you off in payments. That don't make no sense. That is for the mother to decide to put it in a trust and break off some money and give to my child, or give me the whole lump sum at this time. Right? No, Joe was 18. So the mother could have decided it, or Joe could have done it, or whatever. Either way, it just did not make sense. Not only is it illegal, it just does not make sense that the judge could hold somebody's money because he thinks the kid is too young and would not make the right choices. Joe was a legal adult. So right off the bat, to me, it ain't make sense, but I'm from Philly. Right? The mom, her, Joe, and everybody, they're dealing with extreme trauma. This is making sense to them. And also her best friend is working with Tom. She don't know a lot either. You know what I mean? She's like assisting people around the office. She don't really know what's going on. And then at the same time that Tom is telling this family these lies, Joe's mother's best friend, her son dies in an accident, a motorcycle accident. So now they were at first thinking that something was fishy, that something was going on, but now her mind is gone because she done lost her baby. So she goes to Tom and he sues and they get her a wrongful death settlement, right? Then the same thing starts happening to her with her son's settlement that was happening with her best friend. So now the besties start putting two and two together. They were the ones who got the ball rolling. So Thelma and Louise, they were the ones who got the ball rolling. So now they start putting two and two together, and they're just like, wait a minute. Not only are we not getting our money, we're getting it sporadically. The amounts are all over the place. What is going on? So then they decide to sue Tom because it just wasn't making sense. He was just saying different things all the time, but every time he would call, he would speak in this like old man manipulative voice, like very sweet and welcoming, but it would be, oh, I'm sorry. It's not me. It's the judge or it's the company. I just don't understand. please don't be mad at me. Like, he would do all of that, and they would feel bad for him because here's this older gentleman who appears as if he's doing his best. He has nicknames for Joe and his family, and he's making it seem like they really all are family and have a relationship. So when the besties finally put two and two together, they sue Tom, right? Let's stick a pin in that. Because then we get to another victim who is a young woman who, I believe, yes, she got breast implant surgery, but there was something wrong with her breast implants. So she said she was having issues with, I believe, her right implant, and the doctor, the surgeon or whatever, took it out. The plastic surgeon took it out, put another one in. She was having issues with that. Come to find out, there was a problem with the implant. She goes to Tom, or Tom finds her. She sues and gets $135,000 settlement. The same thing starts happening to her. She didn't say, put my money in an investment trust. She said, I want my money. Tom blames the company and says that they're slow to pay out. And he starts giving her the same. He never speaks to her, right? He writes letters or he leaves voicemails. So he starts giving her the same exact, apology and storyline that he was giving Joe and his family. So it's the same voicemails. I'm sorry. Please don't be mad at me. I'm a really good guy. I'm just an old man trying to do the best that I can. Scammer. He is a full-on demonic scammer. She don't even get the chance to sue him because all of this stuff starts happening with Tom. By the time she tries to sue him, homie's assets are frozen. Stick a pin in that. Before we get to the conclusion of Tom being sued by the besties, by Thelma and Louise, we get to the plane crash of victims of that Indonesia flight, I believe about a decade ago, that crashed. We get to them. So this flight, there were some issues with it. It crashes. Everybody is killed. Tom goes with a team of lawyers that he has hired, goes to Indonesia and fights for these people. Gets them a huge multi-million-dollar settlement. They don't hear nothing from him after that. After he gets them this huge settlement, and the settlement is for the people who, the children who were orphaned by losing their parents in the flight, and for the people who were widowed by losing their partner in that plane crash. They win a settlement. They don't hear nothing from Tom. And how they don't hear nothing from Tom is because the lawyers that Tom was working with, they haven't heard from Tom because he hasn't even paid them for the work that they have done. So they start suing him to pay them for the work that they have done. While they're suing him, they realize that he hasn't paid out the plane crash, the Indonesia plane crash victims. So now they're just like, what the hell is going on? While they are putting two and two together, like the besties, like the lady who had the implants that were bad, while all of that is being put together, Erika Jane files for divorce from Tom. Now, this is where that lady, I believe her name is Dana, this is where she comes in. The one, Miss $25,000 sunglasses. This is how she comes in, because she had the lawyers on her little messy podcast, right? Messy is a good thing, Dana, if you're watching. So on the podcast, the lawyers say, we knew that Tom was basically down bad and that he did not have any money when Erika Jane filed for divorce. Their exact words were, when she filed for divorce, we knew that he didn't have any money. So basically, everybody knew that this woman was with this man for money. So for her to file for divorce means that he don't have nothing left. So then that's when they were just like, oh, we got to get on this. We got to get whatever we can get from this man before his accounts become frozen. Stick a pin in that. Then we go back to the besties who are suing Tom. They're suing Tom. Well, they're the bestie that lost her son in the wrongful death accident with the motorcycle. She just let her stuff go. She still want to fight for it, but she wanted to join forces with her best friend because she was one of the people who kind of orchestrated the relationship with Tom. So she was just like, I'm going to get what I can get from my baby later. Let me help my best friend because her child is still here. So they join forces and they go and sue Tom. I don't know how Hulu and ABC got this footage, but there is footage of Tom in this documentary speaking in a deposition about his crimes, basically admitting to the things that he has done. And there's one clip that they put in this documentary where they're asking Tom about the money. He looks old, like he was already old, but I'm just like, he looks ran through. Just beat up. Life has torn him down. At this point, he is starting to say that he has the beginning stages of Alzheimer's. A lot of people in the documentary did not believe that. Not to say that he doesn't have it, but a lot of people did not believe that because it was just really convenient that now that people are suing him for the money that he spent, their money that he spent, that now he's having all these issues with Alzheimer's. So the way he was looking at a deposition, in my opinion, could be the beginning of him playing, I'm this old, decrepit man. I don't really know what's going on. I could not have possibly made these decisions with the same mind because he was in character. He was doing all of that. Get your Oscar, boo. Anyway, so in the deposition, Tom is like, oh, at one point I had $80 million. At another point, I had $50 million in cash, but it's gone. It's all gone. Guys, he spent everybody's money. Everybody's money. From Joe, who survived that gas fire in San Francisco, to a homegirl who had the bad implant, to the plane crash victims and survivors and widowers and orphans. Not to the survivors, to the surviving family members of the plane crash victims in Indonesia and their spouses. He spent all their money. Tom don't have no money, guys. He has no. Now, listen, he might have money in offshore accounts. That's for the FBI to find out or whatever. Or is it the FBI, the CIA, whoever? That's for them to figure out. But at this point in the United States of America, Tom is dead broke. He spent everything. He has nothing. So after he admits this, there is a company that a loan company that multiple loan companies that he was borrowing money from because he has spent so much money. And because it's Tom, he didn't really have to show anything. He was just like, I'm Tom Girardi, I'm this big guy. So they were just loaning him just off of who he was, not really checking any paperwork, just loaning this dude money. When all of this comes out, right? They're like, oh, this dude don't got no money. And we loaned him millions of dollars. So then these companies joined forces and sued Tom. When they sue him, Tom has to file, rushes to file for bankruptcy, right? So as he files for bankruptcy, one thing I did not know, because we all talk about in all the articles, Tom is on there, right? Tom and Erika. Her name is on the bankruptcy filings. So they have both filed jointly for bankruptcy. All of a sudden, as he files for bankruptcy, all of his assets are seized. All his assets are seized and liquidated. Just Tom. They haven't gotten to Erika yet. Although her name is on the bankruptcy filings, they haven't, at this point, as far as I know, they have not, went after her. But they went after everything that Tom has. And now Joe, because Joe's family, the besties, and Joe, because they filed first, they're first in line to get their money. Then it'll be the lady who had the bad implant. And then it'll probably be the, unfortunately, because of how the filings went, it'll probably be the lawyers who Tom did not pay with the Indonesian plane crash victims. It'll probably be the lawyers first, and then the children and widows of the Indonesian plane crash. And to be honest with you, we don't know if they're going to get that money. We know for sure that Joe and his mother and his sister, that they're going to get their money first. So anything that comes out of it, they're going to get their money first. And whatever is left is going to go in order of people who have filed. So as of right now, we don't know. It doesn't seem like a possibility with Tom not having anything left. It really doesn't even seem like, or it appears to be, that the Indonesian plane crash victims are not going to receive a dime. He spent everything. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. Sunny, is it Sunny Anderson? Yes, from The View. She was on there as well. And she was saying, with everything that Tom has done, it would be really impossible for him to escape prison. She was like, I worked as a federal DA. What I'm seeing with Tom, it's unlikely that he won't serve any time. She said the same thing about Erika, because Erika, oh, sorry. Did I not get, what happened? What light went, oh, it's this one. Hold on, technical difficulties. There we go. She said the same thing about Erika, because Erika made a very smart move. When all this started going down, before bankruptcies and assets being seized and liquidated, before any of, they liquidated their home. Child, messy. Before any of that stuff was liquidated, she got a divorce from him. And I believe that because he gave her a quickie divorce, I think she's protecting some things for him. Because I just don't see this man who is down and out, who, yes, he did a lot of this stuff for himself, but he also did a lot of stuff for Erika and took a lot of victims' money and invested it into her business and invested it into Erika Girardi Global to help fund her pop star career, right? I just don't see this big time lawyer giving her a quickie divorce and not being bitter, not being angry that she's not standing with him at the end. I just don't see that. It just does not make sense to me, especially when she was talking about how ruthless he is. So he's just going to give you this quickie divorce while he's like, you know, going down in flames. I feel like she's holding some of his assets. I think she gave him the quickie divorce to protect her assets and his assets as well, because I just do not see him not being bitter about that. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And Sunny also said, she was just like, for right now, Erika's protected because she's saying that everything that Tom gave her, even though it was money from, you know, victims that he represented, it was a donation. Like, even though it was their money, Tom took that money and donated that money to her. Those were gifts. Those were donations. So she's not responsible to pay that back because it was a gift or it was a donation and she was not aware of where it was coming from. Sunny was just like, I don't know if she can hold that up in court. I don't, oh, wait, no, Sunny Anderson is the chef. Oh, we're going to get into that chef Twitter mess. But y'all know who I'm talking about. I think it's Sunny Holston from The View. But she was saying it's, she said it's a really small chance for Erika not to have assets seized or liquidated, even though she got a quick divorce for a time before, you know, people started coming after him collectively, because he was always being sued. But when everybody linked up like the freaking Avengers and went after this man, that's when things started going down south for him really, really bad. Another thing that was really interesting in this documentary was because Tom was able to do this for so long, because he had been stealing money for, you know, since the early 90s, right? Early 90s and 80s. Like, he started stealing up in the 80s. And because he was able to do that for such a long time, a lot of people criticized the California Bar Association, and they released a statement that they basically messed up. They were just like, you know, we have looked over the behavior that has happened and overlooked how Tom was practicing, and we will do better. We will make changes to do better and make sure this never happens again. Because let's be real here, Tom did not become powerful. People made him powerful. He had the law on his side. if he got judges in his pocket and district attorneys in his pockets and our freaking Governor Gavin Newsom in his pocket, like he was untouchable. He could do whatever. A lot of people protected that man, political officials, everybody within law, the California Bar Association, celebrities, wealthy investors, like everybody participated in, protecting this man and looking the other way while he abused his position as a lawyer. Everybody. So he was not just able to do this because he was so smart and crafty. There were a lot of people willing to look away for some financial compensation or for some kind of favor or just to be next to him because he was that guy. So basically, I left that documentary absolutely knowing that Tom is full on broke, at least in America. We don't know if he has money in offshore accounts, but the way he scams, he probably does. Not only is he all the way broke in America, where the hell is he staying? Everything has been liquidated. So where is he staying? I don't know that, but not only is he fully broke in the US, he's probably going to do time. He is probably going to do time. Unsure if Erika, from what I saw in this documentary, I don't believe she's going to do time. I do believe that there's a huge possibility that she's going to pay something back, that something is going to be liquidated. One of the lawyers in the documentary was just like, why is she on this show? Him and Danielle. Danielle was just like, if I was her, I would sit down, shut up, and get off of TV. Why is she documenting this? And to that I say, because she's going to need this bag that Bravo is giving her when this all falls down for her. It's already fallen down for her man, who was, let's be real, her bank, right? Bravo was not giving her the money that Tom was giving her. This is the only thing she has right now. So she has to continue to do the show no matter what she looks like, no matter what the outcome is, because this is her only, source of income. So I personally think, just like Danielle and lawyer Brian, that she should not be doing this show. Even Sunny, she was just like, there are lawyers who are transcribing every shot, every word that is said on this show. These are lawyers who are coming after your assets. Why are you still on this show? She needs the money. She needs the money. This was just very, very sad. Very, very sad. If anything, I think that Tom is going to pull a Hugh Hefner. And a Hugh Hefner is where a very old person who is in some mess decides to die before they have to face any consequences. I think he's going to go on to glory and leave all that mess on Erika. My God, today, Mary and Rich ain't all it's cracked up to be. If these Housewives shows have told you nothing else, I've hoped you have learned that money don't fix nothing. Money does not fix anything. If anything, they be going through hell. I'm not gonna say I'm broke, but I ain't got that kind of money. Baby, I'm doing good. My God, today. This is like, watch it, guys. That documentary is insane. Every moment I'm like, what? Oh my, what? He said I had $80 million at one point and $50 million in cash. First of all, when he said that, I was like, you have $50 million in cash. I wouldn't say that if I was you, because then the feds are going to be like, did you pay money on that 50? He going to do time. But I think he's going to give up the ghost before he has to do any kind of time. Final thoughts. Overall, this is very informative. I think, no shade, Danielle. I think it was cheapened throwing Danielle in there because I did not feel like she contributed to anything. And she made it messy when it really, really wasn't. Great information, great insight. This topic is a lot more serious than I thought that it would be. I had no idea that there was no money left and how much money this man stole from these victims. I did not think it was this deep and this bad. Great documentary. whoever put it together had to be the people who were suing Erika and Tom, because this just made it, in my opinion, this made it extremely worse for them. Extremely worse for them. And now we got this whole season of Erika talking about these lawsuits, the victims, and all of this stuff. It's just not a good look. And unfortunately, I think, Bravo's going to keep on keeping her on the show if she's going to, open up herself like this. And she's going to have to, do what she got to do to keep the income coming in. It's going to be a rough couple years for you, because you're living through all of this, and you're going to be living through it in front of the spotlight. Like, everybody is going to be watching, and a lot of people are going to be waiting for your downfall, unfortunately. Tiny violin. How you play it? How do you play it? Tiny violin. What's going to happen? You're going to lose all the money that you had. It wasn't yours. It wasn't yours. And I'm not going to say that she knew or didn't know. What I will say is that if she says she was not aware and did not know, she has a great case for it, because he hasn't said anything about her yet. If he starts speaking and saying that she was holding money and doing all this stuff, then, but to be quite honest with you, it seems like Erika was thrown into this for salaciousness as well. Because I just feel like a lot of people want her to suffer because she was a young girl who married a wealthy man for money. A young woman who married a wealthy man for money. And to that I say, welcome to LA. That's what you do in LA. That's what you do in LA. Not everybody is like me, willing to struggle until the big job comes. A lot of times you hop on something wealthy to take you to the top. That is LA culture. LA Hollywood culture, industry culture. I'm not going to say that about LA as a whole, but that's LA industry culture. There's nothing wrong with it. Ain't nothing wrong with tricking your puss. It's not illegal, or it should be, but you know what I mean? Like, she got a big fish to take her to where she wanted to be. And what did he do? He got the rest of that old penis as something young and tight. It was an arrangement, but I just think that a lot of people want her to go down with him because, one, they either don't like her, or two, they think that she is aware, or three, she's the reason why he did this, because he was putting a lot of money into pleasing his young wife. But at the end of the day, he made those choices. If she knew what he was doing, I don't know if that's going to get her time. He still did it. He still moved the money. He still made those phone calls and left those voicemails to the people lying on judges. He still moved money back and forth and left a paper trail, a voice trail. He did all of that. So I'm not saying that she's not responsible, but from what I saw, I just don't think there's enough to really throw the book at her. But her man is going down. And I think he's going to give up the ghost and go straight to glory or hell, and let Erika and his kids fight it out. And to that I say, Andy, keep the cameras rolling. Unfortunately, it's going to be good TV. Thank you so much, Alex, for the super chat. Alex said, damn, with all this mess, I am starting to feel like he stole money from me too. From me too, with all those skeletons in the closet. Why sign up for reality TV? I don't know. I feel like for a lot of people who do that, who come on reality TV and then instantly exposed to being awful, I think it's this thing where, I don't know if it's like greed or like pride and feeling like nothing can happen to you, because he's got away with this for almost 40 years. So I guess he just thought that he was untouchable and nothing could be done, and he could never fall. Pride always comes before the fall. He fell hard. I would never go on reality TV if I was doing something. First of all, I would never. This was pure evil. Like, I cried when every victim spoke. From Joe to the young lady who had the bad breast implants. And then we get to, I believe his name, I know I'm not pronouncing it right, but I think his name is Bias, Bias. That's his first name. And he was just like, I haven't seen a dime. Like Joe was the only one who got some money. He was the only one who got something. Everybody else got nothing. The plane crash victims, the family of the plane crash, they got nothing, guys. Nothing. And I believe his name, how do you pronounce it? I think it's Bias. He was just like, it's just me and my two siblings. All of my family is dead. Like the majority of his family is on that freaking flight. He was like, and there's nothing. We don't have anything to repair our lives in some way for what was taken from us. It's really bad. It's really, really bad. And they have a lot of money to pay back because, well, Tom has a lot of money to pay back because not only does he have to pay back the victims, right? The victims have sued him. So they got a settlement for suing. They won that settlement and they got that for suing him. So he has to pay back their settlement that they won from the companies that he sued. But he also has to pay back the settlement that they got from suing him for taking their money. And then he got to pay back the lawyers who he did not pay, who worked on all of his cases with him. There is not enough money in the world to pay for what this man has done. I'm telling you, go watch that documentary. It's so eye-opening, guys. It is not as, I'm not saying small. It's more than 2 variety articles. It's huge. It's huge. Thank you, Alex, for the super chat. Oh, really? Hey, Just Jonda said Erika got busted in December trying to sell her fashions. The Lion Air attorneys. That is the plane that crashed in Indonesia. The Lion Air attorneys put a stop to that crap, and the judge dug in her behind. They gonna seize their Bravo check. Damn it. They gonna seize their Bravo check. Cause Sunny was just like, she was just like, it's a very, very, very small window for her to get away with it. She was just like, it's unlikely. It's unlikely that Erika's assets won't be, frozen and stuff taken from her and all her stuff liquidated. It's very unlikely. I'm gonna keep your update. I'm gonna give you an update on that estate sale. I might do a vlog. I'm going to that estate sale. I'm keeping my ear to the wall because I am going to that estate sale. There's no way that she can sell that stuff for what it's worth. There's no way. Sad to say, when a wealthy person in LA, specifically in like the Hollywood Hills, when they're like getting their assets liquidated and stuff and they got to pay back stuff, they be selling that stuff for nothing. The best estate sales are either wealthy people who, the feds is seizing their stuff and they got to pay back a lot of stuff, or they lost in court or something and they got to pay back a lot of stuff. Those estate sales or estate sales of a wife of a wealthy dude who is getting divorced from him. She be giving all his stuff away for nothing. Nothing. I'll keep you updated on that estate sale. That's all I want to talk about. What I'm going to do, guys, I know some of you have already commented on this while I was speaking. What I will do is go up as far as I can go up. Please let me know if I've missed a super chat or anything, but I'll go up as far as I can go up and I'll start acknowledging those those questions or comments. Just know that the only reason why I didn't want to stop and go back and forth was because there was just so much to get through. And this would have been a lot longer than it needed to be. Oh, shoot. Hold on. What time is it? Listen, I got to multitask. I just realized I forgot to do something that I was supposed to do.
Thank you for calling. This Cheesecake Factory location is open for dine-in service 7
I was supposed to make reservations for dinner. I did not do it.
Reservation or to place a takeout or delivery order, please visit us at thecheesecakefactory.com or press 1 to speak to a team member.
This is so ghetto. I apologize. I apologize. Make it make sense as you can't tell me that they don't have some money stored in offshore accounts. Yep. I think that's why I think he has money in offshore accounts. I think he has money in offshore accounts. Missy B2 said Erika was my second favorite housewife. I liked her too in the beginning. I'm not saying I disliked her, but when she fell in line behind Kyle, after she called her the queen of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills at the reunion, I was like, this is some real nut stuff that you're doing right now. I can't get behind it. Some real teenager, high school clique mess. I want it better for you. I didn't mind her music, but all the songs have a different meaning now. Yep. How many F's do I give? Not one, not one. 0, 0, 0. Done. Yeah. It's not cute. It's not cute. Ghetto. Sorry. How many F's do I give? Mama.
Yeah.
So listen, Cheesecake Factory, the earliest reservation they have is 5:15. I know you guys want to leave earlier than that, so you want to sit down at 4.
5:15 is good.
5:15 is good? Okay, I'll make it.
All right.
All right, bye-bye. Ghetto. I know. But this is live, okay? Y'all here for a live. This is what happens. And no, Cheesecake Factory was not my choice. Nothing wrong with Cheesecake Factory, but I am not 16. Phone required. Nicole R. Oh, that's for... The weirdest thing is that Cheesecake Factory is that girl in my neighborhood. This is like the restaurant that you just cannot get a reservation in. A mess. You're all set. I want 4. Can I do 4? Okay. Hold on. Sorry, y'all. I literally forgot to do this. Darn it! It just won't. The only way you can make it is through the app, and they're not letting me reserve it for our number. Hi, welcome to my live. I'm sorry. Hey, B Smith also makes me think that Beverly Hills Housewives in real time are still standing with Erika. This has all come out. How can they? They're awful. That clique is terrible. I'm going to do a video about that. That clique is absolutely terrible, and they are going to ruin the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. That clique is terrible. They stick together. They make sure that they only talk about the ladies that are not in the clique. They don't talk about what's going on with them. I do not believe for 1 second they did not know what was going on with Erika. If anything, I think that they helped her, right? But had it been Garcelle or Sutton or Crystal or Denise, they would have been talking about that and blowing that thing up and making it worse for her. That clique is terrible. Terrible. I need them broken up or off the show. Miss Brown Sugar said whether she's protecting them or both or just herself, Erika is coming out looking foul. Yeah, there's no way that either one of them is going to look good in this. Which is another reason, Missy B2, why I'm a bit concerned, because I'm just like, y'all didn't have a prenup, and he gave her a quickie divorce. Erika knows where the bodies are buried, and she knows where the money is buried. I'm from Philly, I'm sorry. Yeah. Just Jonda said, if the court divorces them, it will be, okay. That means they will grant the dissolution of the marriage. However, the distribution of assets and liabilities will be separate. Well, it's in the documentary. It said that they were divorced and that she filed for divorce, and that she no longer lives in that home. Well, she doesn't own it anymore. So that's the thing. It's all in the way it's presented, John, because Sunny said that she's saying that that it was gifts and donations. She just is not sure how far that will go, right? Because him giving her shoes and purses and things like that is one thing, right? But it's a possibility that that the lawyers and the victims can go after the $20 million that he invested in her company. So we'll see. Sammy says, scamming before I was born. Yeah, it's very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Hey, Jennifer Jones. Jennifer Jones said, I'm like 23 minutes behind, but I want to see how Rinna goes about handling this information, especially since she can't have blind loyalty to someone. This is what I think is going to happen with Rinna. I think Rinna is going to give her blind loyalty, right? Until the tides start turning, right? Until the fan base, I think it may come, not this season, but next season, until the fan base starts talking differently about Erika. Because one thing that we have known about Rinna, she is entertaining the people, right? Whether y'all like this person or dislike this person, that don't mean nothing to her. She just wants to know what she can do to appease the fans to remain on the show. That's why she's on an apology tour this season, right? Because she thought that everybody would hate Denise. And because that didn't happen, now she's coming back. I was a bad friend. I effed up. This is her motto, right? So right now, the season has already been filmed. These things have already come out. She's going to stand by her girl. But if the fan base start changing their tone or their tune with Erika and start talking about her a little differently, like you have the regular people who don't like the regular Erika Jane haters. But now the people who have watched this documentary, and when they start talking different and it becomes the majority of the fan base, watch Rinna. Watch Rinna. She gonna stay on that show. She don't care. She sacrificed a 20-year friendship. You think she's not gonna sacrifice Erika Girardi, who didn't think twice about sacrificing her husband? She said, I ain't know nothing. Smart. Oh, he's staying with his brother. Thank you, Make It Make Sense. He's staying with his brother until his brother started getting his assets frozen and liquidated. Vaca, hey Vaca. Vaca said, Nikki, why don't they just take her Real Housewives of Beverly Hills checks to pay those poor people? Because right now it's just on time. It's all on time. Unless they can find something where Erika was also aware, not only aware of what was happening, but was taking and moving money around as well. She's in the clear. She's in the clear. I don't think that she will go to prison unless Tom starts talking and saying that she was a part of it. But as of right now, she is, somebody who was oblivious to what he was doing. So you can't go after her checks when she's done nothing wrong at this point. Just Jonda said, Decon T, she is rich people broke. See, that's the thing about Hollywood, right? I'm going to be very honest with you. About 10% of the people out here, like in this industry, really have money to live the way that y'all see people live on TV. A lot of people are broke. A lot. This is a fake it or make it city. This is a fake it to not fake it or make it. This is a fake it till you make it city and industry, right? What you don't realize is there is a lot of money that you have to put into this industry before you can break into the industry or become an overnight sensation. I know somebody whose parents, I don't know what it's called, but they put their house up. I think that's it. Put their house up, sold cars, took family investments and invested it into this person's career. And it was up to $3 million. And now this person, after 10 years of that, is an overnight sensation. But it was a $3 million investment put in first. If she didn't break, they would be in a hole. They would be messed up. So it was a risky, game, a risky, dice to roll or game to play, but they did it. Because there's a lot of money to be made out here, but you have to continue to be this star and make this money to sustain this lifestyle. The lifestyle is very expensive. You will go broke very fast. There was a viral TikTok about this one actress. I believe she's on the Netflix show, and she revealed that she's broke. She's living with roommates in an apartment, and people are like, "Why are you living like this?" She was like, "I ain't got no money." And they're like, "Well, you're on a Netflix TV show." So she took what she made that year from Netflix, from filming that TV show. Then she started subtracting what she has to pay her agent, what she has to pay her manager, what she has to pay her publicist, the taxes she has to pay because now she's a business because of the amount of money that she has to pay, the money that she has to pay her stylist because she needs somebody to get her the latest fashions. You cannot just go up to any, designer and be like, put a dress on me. You have to have somebody who can negotiate those deals for you. So what she has to pay her stylist, hair and makeup for all the events that she has to pay. Then she has to pay for her car. Then she has to pay for her travel because a lot of these events are not paid. You got to travel to New York City to go to the photo shoot to be on the cover of the magazine. They're not paying you because they're giving you exposure of being on the face of their September issue. And then she said, after all that, I got to pay to live. So I got to pay for my apartment. I have to pay for food and gas and utilities and all of these things. So she was like, when it's all said and done, I don't have a lot of money. I don't have a lot of money to survive. That's why I'm in this apartment with a roommate. A lot of people out here are with roommates, driving Bentleys, leasing. A lot of these rappers are leasing cars. A lot of people in this industry do not have that money. You just think they do because they're at an event with other celebrities. That's free press. You want to be able to get into that event, but you have spent a couple of $1,000s to look like you belong in that event before you get there. A lot of people are faking it. A lot of people do not have it. So she broke. She broke, but she got to keep that. Have we seen that Glam Squad? That Glam Squad used to be on every episode. You might see her in a car. You don't know if she's leasing it. When they come for that money, she's going to be just like her husband. That's not rich people broke. LA broke is different. It's not rich people broke. LA broke is I'm a job away from living on the streets. Literally, I have never seen people go from living so high on the hog to couch surfing so quickly. Honestly, ever until I moved out here. You will see people at movie premieres. You will see people in front of magazines. And then the next thing you know, they're sleeping on somebody's couch. It's like, what the hell happened? It's expensive to be me and be in this damn industry. This industry costs money. And if you're not constantly making that money, why do you think a lot of them are coming to YouTube? They need another source of income. They're not here to connect with their fans. Get the hell out of here. They don't want to do that. They need the money. Sammy said, guys, don't be so hard on yourselves. At least you're not evil. Hey, new mommy D. New mommy D said, baby, she's still on that show because she needs the bag. Absolutely. And exposure. Yep. That would be the best thing for her to do, to stay on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and marry even richer. If I was you, I would marry like old money. You got to get a Johnson and Johnson heir. You know what I mean? Get somebody like that. Hop on top of a Walmart heir. That's what you need to be doing. Don't get with these lawyers, these actors, these directors. No, get some old money. Get that. That's what you need to hop on. Ever. All right, I'm coming down to your comments. Obviously, Leah said, you can tell Erika money is dwindling because if you look at them confessionals, that makeup is a struggle. She doing all that stuff herself. The smartest thing she can do is give somebody a chance. Give a makeup artist a chance. Give a stylist a chance. Don't pay them. The pay will be the exposure on this show. Give them exposure on the show. Give them exposure on your Instagram and your Twitter. That is how you're going to have to pay people for a minute. You can't even sell stuff. Everything you like profit from, they're going to be holding on to. She can't do nothing for a very long time. Hey, John Anthony. John Anthony said, I feel like people like him know powerful people and know things about them that will protect him and Erika. Absolutely. But now this thing has snowballed to this. He don't have anything anymore. People are just like, you can say whatever the hell you want. Whatever you got on me, release it. I can't help you in this. I can't help you in this. The hustler and the housewife. I want to say it. I want to say, because word on the street is he don't have the money he telling people. He don't have the money that he telling people. Ciao. Hey, I am Brown Sugar, Miss Brown Sugar. Miss Brown Sugar said, I'm glad this documentary brought attention to the victims' stories. Absolutely. It's easy to forget that their lives have already been tragically altered once and then having to fight for what's owed to them. Absolutely. Absolutely agree. This is not a victimless crime, right? This documentary put an actual face to this crime, right? And like seeing the victims, hearing their stories, then hearing Tom on these voicemails manipulate these people. It's like, you can't call it anything else but evil. He's extremely evil. And that's unfortunate, right? Because he had such a great career. Ruined it for greed. Ruined it to impress this young girl. Ruined it. And didn't even need to do that. He was already connected. She would have stayed with you just for the connections. She would have stayed with you just for that big house and to drive your nice car. She was a waitress. Living in a studio apartment, in her words, some ratty neighborhood with a whole child. That would have been a definite come up for her. He didn't even have to do it, but he also had expensive taste, buying up to $1 million painting and putting it on the show. Sonny said they got lawyers transcribing everything. I told y'all. I would do reality TV. The last reality TV I would do, I would never do a reality TV show about money, about how lavish my life is. No. The feds, I believe that they just have a community of people, a community of employees who just sit there and watch these wealthy people on these reality TV shows and just wait for them to lie. They wait for them to lie. Every time they flash a $10,000, a $30,000 Rolex or a Bentley, the first thing they do is go to their taxes. I would never do a reality TV show about money. Ever. I would do Wipeout before I do one of these housewife shows. Nope. There was also a part that I wanted to add to what Miss Brown Sugar said. There was a part in this documentary where the besties, Joe's mom, the guy who was, his body was burnt on the inside and outside, her and her best friend, they were watching. They had never seen the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills because they were just, at this time, they were already so disgusted with Tom. They didn't want to even be bothered with anything concerning Erika Jade. And they watched it, and they were watching Erika's confession on her first season and how she was talking about it's expensive to be her and how being broke is terrible, having money is better. And one of the ladies, her eyes like welled up with tears, and she was just like, this is so heartbreaking. This is so heartbreaking because she's sitting there saying all this stuff after using my settlement to fund this life. Like, could you imagine? Could you imagine? You're sitting here watching the person who bought all of this stuff with your settlement money that you received from either your son being burned over his entire body inside and out, or your other son losing his life. And she's talking about Balenciaga. The fact that they're like, that they were so, they could have been rage filled the entire documentary and it would have been justified. They were so kind to Erika and Tom still, and they did not have to be. Horrible. $29.62. I didn't mean to call her girl. I think that's what that is a reference to. I didn't mean to call her girl. I think the best thing that Erika could do, to be quite honest with you, well, listen, I won't say that she could do it, but had it been me, right, I would have been having, you know, estate sales or GoFundMes, I would have been doing everything. I would have been selling lemonade, water ice, braiding people's hair, you know, for a $25 donation, whatever. I would have been doing whatever I could. I would have had a poster outside of my estate sale in big block letters, the word sorry. I would have had a full on bullhorn screaming at the top of my lungs as people pick through my shoes and I'm selling them for 20 and 40 bucks and saying, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I had no idea. It wasn't me. Let me make it right. Come and go shopping. Let's get these people their money. Like, she's not doing anything. She's just saying, oh, I can't talk about it. I get that you can't talk about it. Show some remorse. Shed a tear. Nothing. You're just sitting there stoic. Oh, I can't talk about it. But showing up to events laced in Dior. I would have been wearing, big glasses and taking down my glasses, showing people how swollen my eyes are because I've been crying the whole time. I would be wearing sweats, like a whole sweatsuit, you know what I mean, with bleach on it, so you know it's not something new. You know, I would have been showing up in Birkenstocks, ran over Birkenstocks, not even a good hoop, a nice little clear hoop. You know what I mean? Like, I would look like I feel bad. She's not doing any of that. You're just real stoic, still going to these events on the show, still showing up fly, laced in the best garments. Who are your lawyers? They're advising you terribly. You can still, look cute, but not be expensive. She's still showing up to these events like just laced and everything, designer everywhere. It's in poor taste. Very, very poor taste. Hey, Giannis. Giannis said Erika and Tom don't strike me as having sex. Because you're my day one, I didn't read it. She seems asexual and cold, and I can't see her not being attracted to him and him allowing her to see other people so she can be satisfied. Quite possibly. Them rich people, they be doing some all kinds of mess in their relationships. Hey, Orange Turtle. Orange Turtle said, the more rich, the more corrupt. Look at Bill Gates cheating on his wife. Bill freaking Gates. Oh, God. It's on Hulu, guys. Everybody who's just coming in, the documentary is on Hulu. All right, guys, let me get out of here. I got to fix my reservation. I totally forgot about it. I'm sitting here talking to y'all, and I realize I never made a reservation. It's not my fault though. Everybody got back to me late and I said, give me the information now because I got to go on live. I did my part. What is this? I did my part. Anyway, hey Tay. Tay said, Erika and Jen are the reason why our grandparents and parents used to tell us the importance of keeping your business to yourself and moving in silence and securing your own bag. Have your own little bank account because you never know. You never know. Yes, Orange Turtle. Erika needs to show that she's sorry about wearing Crocs and some nice jogging bottoms and some big old 80 square sunglasses and a Welcome to Oklahoma t-shirt. You can still serve, right? It can still be a look. Just like, obviously, if you're going to be on the show, make it look budgeted. You're going to have to do that for a very long time because all of this stuff coming out, it's not a good look. It's not a good look. Blessings to you too, Slim Jim Longfoot. Hey, Jesse Lee. Jesse Lee said an acquaintance's husband is being investigated. Family member for embezzlement. Not embezzle. You're not supposed to sell your stuff unless you can prove before the alleged crimes was committed. Can you fundraise? Listen to Shonda. Oh, this is so sad. Yeah, once again, this is on Hulu for everybody who wants to watch it. But I honestly feel like it's going to be on network TV probably sometime this week. It has to be. Just the way it was advertised. It looked like it was created for network TV, and they just put it on Hulu. So I think you'll be able to see it. I'm going to answer this and two more, and then I got to get out of here. Alex said, Nikki, hearing you talk about the industry, can you tell us what are the positives that actually attracted you to it? I love creating it. I love making people feel good through my creations. That's the only reason why I still do it. The industry is perverted. Like, I'm not even going to lie to you. There's a lot of sick stuff that happens out here. There's a lot of manipulative stuff. There's a lot of racist stuff. There's a lot of sexist stuff. Like all the stuff that you're hearing about, coming out now about Me Too, I'm telling you right now, it's not even the tip of the iceberg. Harvey Weinstein is not Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby. Those guys are not odd. They're like the normal. They're the norm. Period. They're the norm. One day, when I feel like it's safe to say, I'll tell you about stuff that jobs that I lost out on, jobs that I had to turn down, projects that I had to walk away from because people were trying to have sex with me, and because I wouldn't, gotta go. And a lot of women have to go through that. You either got to do it or eat it and be like, man, this opportunity would have really changed my life, but I can't do it. Or you do it and the opportunity changes your life, and that guilt, that shame, when you get older, you realize how you were manipulated. All that eats away at you, and you're either using some substance to help you get through the day, or you're battling mentally with trying to take yourself out of here. A lot of people go through it. A lot of us have lost people that we love because they've made, decisions out here that are not smart. But because they love the craft so bad. There are a lot of people who are not artists, who prey on artists, who come out here, who want to, now listen, there are a lot of people who come out here and want to be famous, but the majority of people who come out here are artists who love their craft and who don't want to die at a 9-to-5 job while having this creative talent and not being able to, or not taking that chance to pursue it, to actually see if you can live off of it. So I'm an artist. I love creating. I love, like I said before, I love making, people feel good with the stuff that I create. I love when you guys reach out to me and say how whatever I've done on here has blessed you in some way. Either it uplifted your spirits, made you laugh, made you think, whatever it may be. That is what I was put here for. That is my purpose. That is my goal in life. Like, that's who I am. That is what I do. So that's pretty much the only thing. It's like, it's who I am. It's within me. It's never going to die out. And I'm going to keep on pursuing it until I go on to glory, like Tom trying to. So that's the thing. It's the passion that keeps you doing it. It's not the industry. So many people hate the industry. There are so many people who like finally make it and they get big and they bounce. A lot of people who make it big out here do not live out here because the industry is so toxic, but they love what they do and they love that they can eat off of it. A lot of artists are being perverted by people who are not artists at all. Jonas said, but Nikki, Sonny said that the donation excuse Erika only can stand up in court is weak. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, it's a small chance that that will actually work, because he did transfer Ben's money, into Erika Jane's company. That already screams money laundering. Absolutely. And if they find the offshore accounts and Erika is all over that, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. Let me do one more and then I got to go. Y'all hear my phone blowing up. Child, these reservations. These reservations. Cheesecake Factory, of all places. Of all places. Cheesecake Factory. That's the restaurant that's hard to get a table in. What the hell? What the hell? Cameron, what happened with Taylor? All right, let me get one more. Oh, Tay said, thank you. Just added to my list on Hulu. This tea is depths of hell hot. I did not expect it, Tay. I did not expect it. I was like, well, this is going to be messy. As soon as we got to Joe, I was like, what? And then when you hear Tom's voicemails, sick. Absolutely sick. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. No, this is not a new show. This is a documentary. Oh, Carmen, it's fine. You can like her. Like, we still don't know if she's actually responsible. People just assume, right? We don't know what really, her part in this was. That's why I said that I think people want her to be blamed in some portion because Tom used a lot of that money on her. But that's what Tom did. You have to prove that Erika said, hey, honey, do you have any money left over from the plane crash victims? Can you put that into my music career? You got to prove that. And we don't know if she said it. As of right now, she's saying she didn't. Arvin Turtle said, Nikki, don't ever do it. I'll give you money. I don't earn much, but don't ever go down that road. I'll even let you share my ramen noodles. Thank you. Oh, no, I would never do it. I would. Hey, Kempire. I would never do it. I love this. I love me. I love this craft too much. And I'm telling you, I've seen people who have made decisions. It's sad what this industry could do to people. It really is sad. I want to do more. I'm going to do the last one I'm going to do is Pink Out. And then, like I said again, I got to get up to Cheesecake Factory. No shade, because what if I get something with Cheesecake Factory? Let me stop hating. I love Cheesecake Factory. Yeah. I've been going there ever since my junior prom. It's a fun place to be. Hey, Pink Owl. Pink Owl said, how much is our Bravo check? It can't be enough to pay all these people back. It has to be somewhere under $1 million. I think the only people who are actually getting $1 million checks is probably Kyle and the Real Housewives of Atlanta ladies. I don't see Erika getting like $1 million. Like, I don't think she's been there long enough to get that. But the Real Housewives of Atlanta ladies, they're definitely getting millions. Everybody else is getting something close, like 800, 500,000 a month. Not a month, a season. Everybody's probably getting something like that. But Teresa's definitely getting in the millions. Yeah, it's like a lot of seniority. and a lot of how they perform. How they perform. Where did you have Cheesecake Factory at? I'm having Cheesecake Factory in Los Angeles. Something off with the seasoning. Now in Philly, if this was a Philly Cheesecake Factory, baby, I would tear that up, all that food up. It's something off with the seasoning in Cali. No, I won't say Cali, Los Angeles. Maybe because everybody is watching their figure. Listen, I'm watching it, and that's it. It's something off with the food here is just not good. How I got this big, I don't know. But the Cheesecake Factory in LA, it's a no for me. It's a no for me. All right, family, let me get out of here. I'll stay as long as I can. I love y'all. Thank you so much for joining me last minute. I saw this, like, I was not going to talk about it today, but I watched it in my heart. I was like, I have to talk to them about it. My heart was beating out of my chest. My mom left halfway through. She was just like, oh, this is very sad. I don't want to start my morning with this. It is a mind trip, y'all. It is a mind trip. Now that, every Cheesecake Factory I have been to, that's the one thing they get right. Oh, yes. The only reason why I will not try it, Indigo Girls, because it has a lot of sugar. And y'all know that, I'm working on me. I'm working on being a better me. So I'll just have the water, probably sparkling. But I love y'all. Thank you again so much for joining me. Thank you for being a part of the conversation. What do you guys think is going to happen from here on out? The only thing I can say is, unfortunately, but fortunately for us and for Bravo, the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is about to be that girl. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is about to be that girl, because I'm telling you, next season, them bros are going to be talking a little different if the fan base turn on Erika collectively. Not excluding Erika Jane haters. I'm saying people who have watched this documentary, who, when because more stuff is going to come out. This is not going to be the end of it. More stuff is going to come out. I want to see how they're going to perform next season. We already know what Garcelle and Sutton is going to do, but I want to see Crystal, because I feel like Crystal really wants to be a part of the cool girl clique. It happens. But I want to see Crystal. I want to see Cal. I really want to see Rinna, although I know what she's going to do. Dorit, come on. I want to see. It'll be very interesting how they perform next season. Anyway, I'll see you guys. Tomorrow. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to put it up right now, or at least a reminder. I'll see you guys tomorrow for The Bachelorette, episode 2. Love you. Bye. Mwah. I do not want to eat that food. I think I'm just going to get chicken wings. They never go wrong with the chicken wings. Chicken wings and bread. What a dinner. Bye, y'all.